Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant. It is Monday, the 4th of December, and in true celebration style, I've got my Christmas Ask the Accountant t-shirt on. How's your Christmas theme going, Mr. Humbug over there?
In progress. Carry on. Next segment.
Carry on. Brilliant. So it is the 4th of December. We are live at 8:30 a.m. across all of our favorite social media platforms. If you are tuning in on our podcast, which goes out on a Wednesday, why not give us a hook up on a Monday morning and ask questions, join in the conversation, hold us to account, keep us correct. So, as always, with me is Mr. Humbug, aka Aaron Patrick. Aaron, how are you? How was your week and your weekend?
Very, very good. I'm not sure I should be humbug though. I did go and buy a tree this weekend.
That's a whole different story I need to talk to you about.
Okay. I look forward to it. I'm going off script though. I forgot to mention the fact that look what came through the post. One of our friends, Natasha, her book has come through. Look at this. Absolutely. It's in the flesh now, not just a PDF document. So really, really looking forward to sitting down. Oh, it wasn't a freebie. I paid for it. Don't worry. There's no freebie. I like to support our viewers. So yeah, sponsored by Auto Entry by Sage. Exactly the same as the PDF version, but now it's in paperback. So there's just something about just holding it right. So for everyone who doesn't know, I've got a nice little selection of books over here, and this will take pride of place over there. But yeah, no, good week. In fact, I'm going to say one of my favorite weeks. For a long time, because I didn't leave the house. Well, I left the house, but I wasn't on the road, should I say. So yeah, and it's amazing how much work you can get done, isn't it, when you actually tethered to your desk to churn out. And I churned out work. I churned out some work. So yeah, it was good. I feel like I'm back on track now, whereas I was starting to slip behind with all the excursions we're doing. So at least this week we're at home, and wait, we're not.
No,
do you want to talk about where we're going?
Yes.
How was your weekend? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I finally got to put up my Christmas tree and buy my Christmas tree and go put it up, because someone else had done it, so it was okay for me to now do it, apparently. So I only got permission to put my Christmas tree up because Mr. Patrick had put his Christmas tree up on social media. So, if Aaron's done it, we can do it.
One person in my life, you know what I mean?
To be fair, I think it was more your wife's influence than it was yours, but yeah, that's being married. So yeah, put my Christmas tree up. Mother-in-law came around for Sunday roast, so I'm just gradually practicing different ideas, ready for the Christmas cooking session that will be Christmas Day. But yeah, not a bad weekend, and as you say, a productive week. I did take my productivity to a whole new level, though. I was very proud of myself. So, as most of our viewers will know, I've got a little treadmill under my desk, haven't I? Can you do a self-assessment tax return while walking 5.5 miles an hour? Because I can. Let's get my step counts in, do my tax return. I was very happy, loving life.
That's a new challenge. And so, what was it? 5 and a bit miles? You were saying
5.5 miles an hour. I was walking at. That was my pace.
Anyone can do 6. I want to put it in the comments. I'm going to try it. I mean,
could you cycle on the Peloton while doing a tax return?
Well, I've got the Peloton tread as well, so I could do it. I could set it to 6 and do the same as you. But I mean, how complicated was this tax return we're talking? Are we talking directors only, or?
No, they had a bit of property in there, a small self-employed bit, and a payslip. So, yeah. I wouldn't go as far as I could say I could do it with my eyes closed, but it wasn't overly complex. It was just a data entry
challenge accepted. But if I turn up next week in a cast, we all know why.
Yeah, we know exactly what happened. Brilliant. Okay, right. Before we go into any more of our topics for the day, because we've got some good ones, let's go through the comments. So we've got Paul. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to Kirsty, back from her trip to South Africa. And Natasha says, thank you and good morning. Natasha, what rates are you sponsoring us with, considering the amount of promo we're getting right now? We should be listed along with Sage and Auto Entry on that book as sponsors now. Get them all reprinted. Get a sticker. Just stick it on. It'll be fine. Good morning to Paul. How are you? Paul W says, no Christmas decorations in the office.
Not yet.
This is a place of work and professionalism. But yes, I need to get out my wooden free agent Christmas tree that they sent me a while ago.
Did you see their little advent calendar this year? Did you not get one?
I might have one in my office registered address, but I've not picked it up if I have. Yeah, they do an advent calendar every year. And
do they?
If you're a certain tier of member, aka my tier, you just get a picture advent calendar. So you just open the door and you've got a picture and a little joke. If you're a higher tier, you get one there. You open the door and you get a chocolate. So bit of encouragement. If you want a decent advent calendar with chocolate in it, then you need to step it up.
I don't want to spoil anything, but in my next video, I may have included Free Agent, and I wish I hadn't. So there's no way going forward I'm getting any advent calendars from them. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Good morning from LinkedIn user who is in the Snowy Lake district. You know what? I didn't even have to de-ice the wife's car this morning. I wouldn't say it's warm, but it's not cold, and it's very wet. So we've just had rain and no snow.
Proper snow yesterday. We had the puppy running around in the snow outside. Oh, okay.
The best my dog could do was roll around in the frost. Or the hail that fell last Thursday and only melted today. And Natasha says, you guys are awesome. You are very welcome, Natasha. Always happy to support our listeners. Too many contexts. That's right. Anyway, folks. So, as Aaron has alluded to, we are away this week. We will be later on today. We are heading down to London. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, let's go somewhere different. London, lovely. So yeah, we'll be down in London, and we will be attending the QuickBooks Accounting Council for the final event of 2023, which we're looking forward to. For those of you that have not heard about the QuickBooks Accounting Council, it got launched earlier this year. It's made up of 20 accountants and bookkeepers who use QuickBooks in not exclusively necessarily, but use QuickBooks. They are very proactive with their feedback in a constructive way most of the time. And they are looking to help improve the product, etc. So there's 20 of us. We've met. This is our 4th meeting this year, I think. 3rd or 4th, something like that.
I think as a council 3rd, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah,
4th.
maybe.
There's like a little setup council.
Yeah, there's a warm-up, wasn't there? Yeah. So we will be attending that at QuickBooks head office tomorrow, which will be great. And there's
before we move on though, can I just say shout out to Karen who sorts it all out. But
yes.
And I can't see too much because it's NDA and everything. But look how Christmassy it looks, the agenda. Look at that. That is attention to detail we like. You know what I mean? Like we've got a very Christmas agenda coming up. So
yeah, definitely. And it looks like a good session. I mean, it's a full day of sessions, and we're going to be talking about product roadmaps and feedback on that, and talking about various different product updates that are coming out and stuff. And the beauty of it is that we get to sit there and go, oh, that's not going to work. You need to do this. Or that's great, but you've not thought about how you apply it in the real world. And they get to do that and make adjustments before it goes to beta testing and public testing, which really helps them. So I know the value the QuickBooks get out of this is phenomenal, but the value we get out of it, to sit around with 20 other accountants and bookkeepers who are of the same kind of mindset as ourselves and the same enthusiasm for making the product better, and then learning how each of us run our own practices and stuff. Yeah, huge value session for this is out for both of us, isn't it, Aaron?
Yeah, it's amazing. And what I think we've learned from this is just how quickly they are adapting to it. So the first one was, very much, let's just show you what's good coming up and everything else. And then they started to be more, even now in the second, third, fourth, whichever one we're in now, they're looking more accountability. It's like, look, we told you we're going to do this. Here's a spreadsheet of what we told you we're going to do, and here's an update of it. And I think that to me gave me the most amount of like, you know what, we're being heard here. This isn't just a flashy event so we can promote it. It is a let's get some serious stuff done, which I love.
And that spreadsheet gets longer with every meeting because they take on all of our comments and all of our action points, fill out the spreadsheet with it all, and then update us on those as well.
Yeah.
So we know we're being taken seriously. We know that there's weight and resources being thrown into actioning what we're telling them, which is great.
Yeah. And we've got a Christmas do as well. They put on a little Christmas do afterwards as well. So.
Yes, we will be having a social in the evening. I've got my Christmas jumper packed, ready to go. It says I'm not in the Christmas mood. So yeah, so that'll be, it's just going to be a great day. And just as exciting, tonight we will be going live from QuickBooks HQ. We'll be streaming QuickBooks Labs live, won't we, Aaron?
Yeah, and it's the big one as well, because for anyone who's never seen QuickBooks Labs is a podcast similar to this, but not as polished in my eyes. But you can't get to this sort of level, you know what I mean? But it's a bit my other passion project, well, our passion project, which is QuickBooks Labs. And each and every year we do a yearly roundup, and we go through all the features that have been released by QuickBooks, and we rank them as good, bad, indifferent, game changing, them sort of analysis. And in the last couple of years, we've had some juicy look back at the year and had some juicy insights into it. And this year, I think, could be the one to top them all. When you think about what's been released this year, some brilliant, some not so good. I think it'll be great to see. So yeah, today 4:30 we're hoping for, but don't hold us that, because there could be some trains and all sorts get in the way. But yeah, we're hoping to go live 4:30 today from QuickBooks HQ. So it'd be nice to be in a different scenery, right? And 2 podcasts in one day. When have we ever done that before?
Well, this is not live. We've recorded a lot of podcasts in one day, but we've not done 2 live ones. That's going to be quite the mission. So yeah, straight after this session, I'll be jumping on a train down to London. I'm pleased to say, I'm sure everyone's worried, but I've managed to get a first-class ticket. Good old Seat Frog wins again. I know, right? Johann sat in comfort with free coffee. Everyone's happy?
For 4.5 hours, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of free coffee.
You'll be on to the free booze, let's be honest. At that point,
well, the free beer does start at 11 o'clock, which is when my train leaves. So
get a couple of coffees in first, line your stomach. I mean, we already know. So
QuickBooks Live could be quite juicy.
Exactly. Well, QuickBooks Labs, anyone who's also not aware, we have another third co-host, Charlie, and he's coming straight from a Coots event. Free meal, free booze. So yeah, I think I'm going to be the only sober one on there. So we'll see how that goes. We might have to change it from the pub in QuickBooks to just to keep everything on board. But yeah, we'll see.
Cool. Okay, so that's what we're getting up to this week. But we'll come back to you with that. Watch out for video content. I know I'll be focusing on it in my day in the life. Aaron, you normally do a day in the life short vlog style video when you do events like this. So keep your eyes on socials, people. Next bit of news. Book your tickets. Fab, or Festival of Accounting and Bookkeeping, have opened their early bird tickets now. So Fab's going to be a free event. However, if you book the early bird ticket, you get exclusive benefits. What those are, I don't know, because they've not listed them. But if you go to the accounting web website, there's a big banner across the top of the page saying book your tickets now. And you click on that, and you can either get early bird visitors, which will include exclusive perks and benefits to those who book before 2024. So get in there. VIP tickets can be booked, but you need a code for that. So what I think they've probably done there is they've gone to software vendors and governing bodies and gone, look, we're going to give you some exclusive tickets. Maybe they've paid for them. Maybe they haven't. We don't know. But basically, those people are going to get a code, and they're going to get a VIP ticket to the day. And you can also book. They're getting ready for you to book your press passes as well, but that registration's not there yet. So yeah, this is shaping up to be a great event. It's happening in 99 days, 15 hours, and 13 minutes because there's a timer on the website. There we go. Yeah, from what I was chatting to the guys about over at Festival Accounting and Bookkeeping, they are taking this whole festival thing quite seriously. Yes, it's an indoor space in the NEC in Birmingham, which travel connections, you couldn't get any better. The train is to the door. But they're kind of doing this whole marquee thing of that's the social media tent, that's this tent, that's that tent, this is the main stage, and it's a big round thing in the middle of the whole space for everyone to see. So yeah, it's going to be a great 2 days, I think. I still have major reservations over the whole events thing next year and how it's one after another for a very long period of time. But each event by themselves, I think it's just going to be fantastic. It's going to be interesting from a business case point of view of how many people turn up to which events and how many are going to all the events this year. So yeah, but yeah, there you go. Festival of Accounting and Bookkeeping 2024 tickets are now available. So yeah, definitely go and have a look at that, folks. Aaron, any thoughts?
Because we're talking about FAB, it's only right for me to do this. I keep doing. And we played the Thunderbirds theme tune. Can you not hear it? Not going through?
Oh, we can now.
There we are. So
that's us copyrighted.
Yeah. So I keep playing Thunderbirds I'll Go by Busted on the live stream every time we mention FAB. Now the thing that it did there is it then puts it into my like daily rotation. So every time I listen to music, he's popping up. Okay, fine. Then we do our yearly, your wrap up sessions where it goes through what songs you've listened to and everything else. So I got my yearly wrap up.
Quite a lot, haven't you?
Yes, Thunderbirds came in like my top 6 this year. So yeah, when you have a little what it's not even a funny skit when you trying to put a little skit together, that's where it comes down. No, I'm looking forward to this. I think the fact that they've got a VIP is very interesting. We'll see what that entails. I think we'll definitely be doing a grid walk. We'll be definitely doing those sort of things at the event.
Yeah.
I want to know what that VIP entitles to, and I want to find a VIP member for the grid walk as well. I think we've got to set ourselves a challenge. We're going to find one, or at least get a podcast or an interview with someone who's a VIP member, because that'd be great. And these press tickets as well. I'm very interested to see how do you get yourself a press ticket? Because I think that'll be a first for us if we can try and find a way to wangle our way into there. We shouldn't be allowed one, let's be honest. But if we can wangle our way in, and if anyone can help us wangle our way in, will be much appreciated. Just to say that we got ourselves a press ticket. But no, I'm well excited for this. I think this is going to be a cool little thing. I think they're doing enough now for me to have it different. I think if it was just Accounting Web Live, I'd be a bit more like, but the fact that it's a whole new thing, there's something, these tents idea, this festival idea, starting to get the juices flowing a little bit for me to get a little bit more like, ooh, excited. And there's out of all of them we've got next year, that's going to be the most intriguing, right? Because that's the unknown.
Because we know everything else.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, they thumbs up to the marketing team there and the PR team there, because they've started to at least get us go and take interest in it. So I'm looking forward to it, and it'll be great to see that in action. So yeah, can't wait.
Definitely. As with all of these web articles, there's always a photo of an audience, like a busy space, isn't there, behind that they put next to these banners and stuff. Can I just point out, hats off to Dex for their marketing.
I was going to say,
because Dex t-shirts stand out like a sore thumb in these big crowd photos, and all you can see is like Dex. Oh, and an iris bag. So yeah, hats off to Dex, because the benefit of those bright orange t-shirts does pay off when there's stock images floating around.
Yeah, without a doubt. Kirsty's got some updates for us.
Oh, okay. So Jane has got a VIP ticket, I think. I've just booked, but got normal tickets, hoping to liaise with Penelope for an Airbnb. Oh, Airbnb, if there's a few of you go in and you can get an Airbnb with a couple of bedrooms, it's a fantastic way to do it. Maybe we ought to look at that.
Where's the nearest like town? Anything though? That's what I'd be interested in.
What, the NEC?
Yeah.
It's Birmingham. You have plenty of. To be fair,
but it's not Birmingham. NEC is not Birmingham. Don't go booking Birmingham for NEC because it's not. But easy enough trains, isn't it? I suppose.
I was just going to say it's like staying at King's Cross area and knowing you need to be in Waterloo. Like you can just get the tube. Well, that analogy, but with the right geographical locations, all right. Like
and a tube line that goes directly there.
Train,
great.
And there's a train every 2 minutes to it. It's not the end of the world if you book Birmingham.
True. We'll be interested. And if you can, Kirsty, find out what the VIP ticket enables. We're really interested. Yeah. Just to promote it for them and push it for them.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Okay, let me just go back to my show notes. So, topic of the day, big topic that I want to talk to you about, Aaron. Did you see the news last week?
Could I not see the news? Could I? I mean, it was everywhere, wasn't it? In fairness to him, again, shout out to certain members of the accounting community. Some of the big hitters there were talking nothing but, in my opinion, which was good to see. We love it.
Yeah. So, Sage have announced Sage AI. So, as you can imagine, Chris Downing was all over this, and Chris had an amazing LinkedIn post, like very short with text, just like directing people to the article. We had this image that was AI written, and it was so cool. Like, it's such a cool image. If you've not had a look, seen it yet, go to Chris Downing's LinkedIn profile about a week ago, have a look, and there's this image that's been created by AI, and it's just, phenomenal. I love it. So Sage have announced they are investing in AI. They are building stuff. They've been doing it for a while behind the doors and stuff like that. I mean, some of the bits they say that's AI, or it's like, well, it's more auto entry, auto categorizing and stuff.
Yeah.
Like OCR technology. Do we count that as AI? I don't know. It's tomato and tomato. Like, it is what it is. But I think what's a bigger story here is Intuit have launched Intuit Assist over in America, and they're talking about how it's going to work in the UK. Amazing. Sage, who were on the back foot, I think it's fair to say, and I think Sage will be the first to admit they've been on the back foot with cloud technology until the last 2 years, when they've been on a feature parity and level playing field again, and in some areas advanced against their competitors. So Sage have now made a big press release about their Sage AI and the goals that they've got for it, which, to be fair, that I think everyone's goals with AI are pretty succinct. Like, it's there to take the data processing and the digging around for information out of your day and just be able to present it to you on the screen, which is great. But there's a major thing going on here, that Xero haven't spoken about AI. Like, Xero for years were that, we're tech adopters. Like, the Xero users and the Xero community were like, look down the nose at Sage and at QuickBooks and going, no, we are, we're early adopters. We love tech. That's why Xero's so cool. It's ahead of the trend. If I was those people, I'd be a bit worried about now that Xero aren't even talking about AI. Like, Xero just had their roadshow. No mention of AI. That was the stage to announce it on, surely. Whereas my understanding is Sage were talking about AI, not as big and publicly as QuickBooks were, but there was discussions of AI and links to AI at the Sage roadshow. So, and QuickBooks were talking about AI all across their roadshow. Do we think Xero has even started to look at AI? What are your thoughts?
I mean, maybe, possibly, they're saving it all for the London's July, isn't it? Is it July?
June.
So
it's
maybe
another 6 months away.
Exactly. And in between that, you've got AccountX, you've got Digital Accounting, you've got FAB, and I imagine Sage and QuickBooks will be very much, let's talk about it, at least let's mention it, maybe put in a few of the keynotes on some of those stages. I could imagine, I mean, look how big Sage's it was the umbrella, wasn't it, that they had at AccountX, that amazing stand they had. I'd be surprised with that there wasn't even a tiny bit of that dedicated to AI in some spare. It's such a huge ecosystem, right? Like there will be opportunities to just shoehorn it in here and there. Xero are going to save it all the way until June. I mean, that's if they have anything to talk about in June. Then that doesn't seem like they're going to have. They're just going to be on the back foot, shortly, if they're going to do that.
And think of it this way, right? The speed at which AI is developing and being implemented in the real world is phenomenal. This time last year, no one knew of AI, really. I mean, tech developers and stuff knew about it, but it wasn't public conversation. ChatGPT comes along November last year. All of a sudden, we're all talking about it for the last 12 months.
Well, we had to pivot our talk, right? AccountX. We went from, had all these topics we want to talk about to, if we don't talk about AI, we're missing a trick.
Right. So every accounting conference we've been to this year has been flooded with AI conversation, which has been great to replace MTD with AI conversations. QuickBooks have not only announced but released in America an AI tool. Sage have announced last week their AI, and it's already in place in some of their softwares. All right, and it's rolling out to more and more. Like, where's Xero?
Exactly. And I think if you think about it as well, QuickBooks and Sage have the massive advantage of their ecosystem. I mean, arguably, Sage has still got a stronger ecosystem. We've said that for a while, right? QuickBooks is on the back foot, but are looking to catch up on there. But when we're looking at AI, it's ecosystems the important word, right? It's the ecosystem. Data. Yeah, exactly. But the data comes from the ecosystem, right? So if you can have your AI solution that can look over an ecosystem, then there's some magical things that can happen, especially for us small practice owners. This is a game-changing sort of level. They keep saying it, don't they? It's like it's web, this is as big as the internet coming into firms sort of idea, right? So if that hype is true, and we believe it is, and that hype is right, then having an ecosystem like as big as powerful as Sage, as big as powerful as QuickBooks, mean there's a lot of good work that can be done there. So for Xero, that definitely doesn't have an ecosystem, or at least an ecosystem that's anywhere near comparable. It's got a bookkeeping tool, which is great, fantastic, wonderful. But if AI can only affect that one part of their tools, then they're going to have to talk about it more than anyone else, because for everyone else, their ecosystem does the talking for them. Oh, we've got this new tool that can talk to all of this, and look where it does this and this and this. Sage has got the advantage of they could talk about AI subtly in Go Proposal, and they can talk about it in auto entry, and they can continue that conversation. Xero can't.
Yeah, and in theory, like Sage could turn around and go, well, our AI has got access to the bookkeeping, it's got access to the accounts, it's got access to your time logs, it's got access to your Go Proposal. So based on that purpose, AI could be revaluing and repricing all of your clients for you to go, yeah, that's fine, I'll send it out. Like you and I have said it, like into QuickBooks, in theory, with the right development and the right implementation, Intuit Assist between QuickBooks, all their data, and their practice management tool could blow every practice management tool out of the water. Like they've got the data, they've got the ability there to do some incredible things. But is holding off any announcements from Xero for 6 months, assuming that's what they are doing, like with the rate AI is developing and the people are implementing it, can you wait 6 months? Or should you be going, crap, we need to make an announcement now?
I mean, I think you summed it up really when you started this conversation, and you said that, in fairness to Sage, they were on the back foot. And the reason they were on the back foot is because, you know, way back when, they famously was like, this cloud situation is a fad, right? You know, cloud accounting, it's not going to catch on, sort of idea. And they tried to go down the hybrid route, and, you know, they put a lot of resources into that, and ultimately realized they needed to pivot and they needed to jump on the cloud, and they've been doing that catch up ever since. To me, this is almost seems like history is repeating itself, but now Zero are thinking that this is just a fad and we don't need to be involved, or, you know, it's not worth our time and investment, etc., etc. Or
but then
is it just they just, you know, they've got nothing to talk about? Maybe, I don't know.
You can kind of forgive anyone in like the accounting space for thinking cloud accounting was a fad and it would never catch on, because it was just a niche of the world. Like, it was just in the accounting world. It was a bit of a niche. AI isn't in just the accounting niche. AI is worldwide. When Apple, Google, and Microsoft are plowing billions of pounds a week into AI, you can't be daft enough to sit there and go, it's all right, it's a fad. Like, there's too much evidence against it. So, yeah. And, you know, like, this is Zero. They're based in Australia and New Zealand, where they're allegedly, those accounting firms are 5 years ahead of the rest of the world. And America's like 5 years behind us. Like, we're sat in the middle spot. Like, when you look at accounting firms and cloud technology, you've got Australia on the forefront of that early adopters curve. You've got us in the middle, and you've got the US back there somewhere. Like, surely firms in Australia are demanding AI implementation. If the UK are and the US are, then surely Australia are. And that's where their Zero's client base, that's their home ground. So, yeah, if I was a Zero only user or a heavy Zero user, I'd be very anxious at this moment in time that they're not talking about AI, to our knowledge.
I mean, that's what we've been talking about for a lot lately, right? When we were on the QuickBooks Roadshow, and when we've talked about events and stuff, we've been saying that at the moment, as practice owners, we're all being given a flag, right? We've all been told, right, here's your flag of who you're going to put your trust in going forward. Because, you know, prior to this, it was all about, let's just get every piece of software you can, best in class, and just hope there's an API link between them. Fantastic. That's what growing your practice was all about, right? And I think we kind of pride ourselves on looking at all of those different tangents and trying to find the best we can. And, you know, at this point, it's been maxing, isn't it? We're not looking at, for most of the time, we're not looking at groundbreaking changes here and there. We're looking at subtle differences that, you know, make sense for your particular practice or make sense for your ecosystem. But if AI, as we believe it will be, is going to be as powerful as it is with that closed ecosystem, then we're not going to have that benefit of being able to go out there and find the best of this and find the best of that. We're going to have to go, right, I've put my flag in the ground on this particular software. I trust that this is the one that's going to deliver what I need for my practice. And even if there is something slightly better, I'm going to stick with that ecosystem because of the AI benefits that it's going to come with it, right? Yeah. And if that's the case, they need to, this is when they need to be talking to the practice owners, right? Now, not in 6 months' time or a year's time or whatever, you know, the decision's going to be that Xero is going to talk about AI or whenever they are, if they are. I just feel like this is the time to do it. And the fact that Sage have already put their flag, they've said, look, you can trust us. Here's a flag, stick it in with us. We'll get you there. That's what we need, right? QuickBooks done the same. Let's talk about the other one. Bright's never mentioned it either. And if they want to be a serious or you know, one ecosystem to rule them all, they've never mentioned it either. You can almost like, it's almost like there's a divide now ones who at least mentioned it, give them due. Pixie and Carbon have at least mentioned it. Yes, it was all a bit woolly, and yes, we're a bit like, was it? Is it truly AI or has it
been delivered? Yeah. We don't really know.
But they mentioned it, right? They're in the conversation. Yeah. So it feels like you've got a quick divide here. You've got Zero and Bright not bothered about it. Don't like it's probably going to be a fad, and the rest of industry going, we need to be talking about it. We need to be talking about it as much as we can. We need to get Chris down and everything else involved in the conversation. He probably would have just brought it on himself, but you know what I mean? Like that's the PR spin, right? That's the push for it.
Chris has put the link to his post in our comments if you want to share that.
Oh, wonderful. Let me find it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And that was the picture you were on about, wasn't it? That link.
Yeah, it was I'm just staggered that Carbon and Pixie announced AI ideas at Accountex. Carbon, in their defense, I think they have implemented some of it.
Okay.
But I think there's some limiting, like it's limited to what you can do because they're still looking at data protection and stuff like that. Pixie, I think it was Pixie's AI was meant to be in 2.0, which my understanding is that's been postponed or delayed. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's been issues with them rolling that out, and there always will be when it comes to AI technology and stuff. It's going to take time to work it out and make sure it's not looking at things you don't want it to look at. QuickBooks aren't just talking about it, it's in product. It's available in the US. We're just begging for it to be in the UK. And it's their own.
Yeah.
Sage,
do we know what?
Building their own.
Oh, it is building their own. Okay, cool.
Sage are building it from scratch themselves, and there's parts of it already in product. So, there's and they are testing what they're building already in live product today, is my understanding from the article. We know how long it takes to go from concept to delivery, and if you're 18, so if we look at Zero, if they do announce something next summer at ZeroCon, that's 18 months from the original ChatGPT going big. If in that time your two biggest competitors have already got products in market, that announcement next June, you've got to announce it's going live today. There's no, in the next 12 months, we're going to do this. It needs to be live on that day. And it needs to have been beta tested by that day. Because at the moment, now, every single day they've not got something live, they're a day behind everyone else. And these as they keep bragging that they've got all these tech forward, early adopting firms, you have for now, but that relies on you maintaining that status of being tech forward, early adopting software. And if you've not been talking about AI for the last year, then where have you been?
Yeah, I mean, they have said, haven't they, in their latest earnings that I don't know where they get these numbers from, but they've said they've got this big pot of cash ready to invest in a new acquisition. And we know that Zero's been very much burnt in acquisitions in the last 3 years, isn't it? Like, tell me,
fair to Zero, I think they've all been burnt by acquiring things and implementation not going quite as well as they'd like.
Sage have got it right pretty much every time, haven't they? When have they last done a not so good acquisition? Where is Zero? Go for it.
I would argue if Go Proposal or Account Auto Entry had maintained hadn't been acquired by Sage, I think it'd be interesting to see what their growth trajectories would have been versus what they've actually achieved under Sage. Like, in theory, by putting them under Sage, you should expect faster growth because they've got a bigger audience. I've not seen figures. I'm just speculating here, but I'd question whether that's, has that come to fruition? I mean, look at Iris's acquisitions. Like, they've acquired Center.
Notorious. Yeah, they're notorious for just destroying.
I know, but I think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to say to Zero like they've made some bad acquisitions. I think it's just, I don't think any acquisitions ever go overly well. when big software companies come in with the small software players. I think it is a very challenging thing to do and get right. But, like Xero, yeah, they've been burnt in the past. I'm surprised they're so willing to buy again, if that's what they are going to do. Whereas Sage and QuickBooks gone, no. Well, Intuit, sorry, gone, no. With this one, we're building it ourselves.
Yeah, but if Xero were to say their recent figures were correct, and they can't have just lied about them, because it's it's on public forum, isn't it? So it has to be an element of truth to it. We're skeptical of it, but let's say they've got this big pot of cash and they're going, right, we need to be involved in this AI. Let's go and buy. Who do you buy? Like, it isn't something you can just buy to plug and play, is it? It's not. No. It's not a buyer's market for this one, surely.
No, I mean, you either build it from scratch or you go and partner is the best terminology for you, because the people that are building this stuff that aren't Sage and they aren't Intuit are OpenAI and Google, and Microsoft is even relying a lot on OpenAI versus building it themselves. Like, these aren't people you go and buy it from. Like, yeah.
So you're saying Xero aren't going to buy Google? That's not going to happen, or Alphabet as they call it.
I heard they were interested, but then that deal with Revolut went through, and Xero weren't interested in the banking sector, so they pulled out.
Okay, it was Monzo, but yeah, carry on.
Was it Monzo?
It was Monzo, yeah, Monzo. And that's gone through. Now Alphabet's been purchased by, or had a big purchase by Monzo, yeah.
Cool. So Monzo is now partially owned by Google. That'll help the AI. Christ. But yeah, I don't know. I have to say, Xero was the last software I was expecting to have a slow off the mark with AI. Like, I kind of expected them to be ahead of the curve here. I didn't expect Sage and QuickBooks to beat them to it.
I don't know. I mean, what other option have they got if they're going to keep cutting jobs all the time at Xero?
Well, yeah. Have they just completely run out of money to invest in new technology such as AI?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking based on information that we get to see publicly, right? We don't know. Yeah. We're not part of the Xero Accounting Council or anything like that, right? Yeah. Even if we were, we'd be NDA'd to a 9th degree, so we wouldn't be able to mention it. But I don't see anyone talking about it, so it doesn't seem like it is. Anything coming from there?
Here's another one for you then. If Xero are going to do an acquisition in AI, like you've speculated today,
yeah,
trust factors. Do I trust Sage, who have built their own? That links into Sage products, where Sage can control what the AI can and can't see really simply because they build it from scratch. Or do I trust Intuit, who have built their own and they can ring fence the right data, exactly the same as Sage? Or do I trust Xero, who have brought a software that they've not built and they may struggle to ring fence sensitive data from? Because that is the benefit of building your own for Sage and QuickBooks, is they are building it from scratch and ring fencing as they go. Yeah. Like, they can anomalize the data that needs to be anomalized as they build that software up.
And it's been frustrating for us, but kudos to Intuit for when they do want to implement these really tight knit integrations, then they want to own that whole journey right from start to finish. Yeah. We've had this conversation before about why Cresco, for example, can't just be a pay now button. There's there's that holding, they quit. Intuit want to hold that whole service from start to finish, and Sage have been the same, right? Sage don't have the app store that is just open to everyone. There has to be certain criteria met there. They're very particular on which ones they bring in, which ones they're going to work with. So
Xero, to be fair, like trying to get client engagement certified by them is a nightmare.
Agreed, but I think that's more of a resource thing, right? Like also Xero are looking to monetize that. So the main reason they want to go through those tests is to go, oh, actually, no, you want that monetization, right? Yeah, so we need to have a charge. That's the only reason they're doing that bit. That's nothing to do, because they will let anyone, in theory, do a pay now button. They'll let anyone do a, and because for them it's a blame game. Like if it goes wrong, it wasn't us. Sorry you couldn't get paid this month for all your invoicing you did. That was down to that other solution that we've attached. It was their problem. Go talk to them. And then those people then go, well, no, it was actually zero, and it's just back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
If they do that with AI, yeah, but if they do that with AI and it's just a blame game of, oh, don't worry, your data's just been passed to this other person back in the, this other company. We can't have that, right? And no. Already the institutes and the professional bodies are clamping down on what we can and can't do with AI. Surely, in theory, they'll be dead in the water if they do just have this third party that's allowed full access to the data, right?
Yeah. I mean, you cannot just be exporting like accounting and bookkeeping data anywhere. It has got to be done right. So yeah, if they're not building it themselves, I just have like whenever you read any articles about adoption of AI and surveys that are done of any industry, not just accounting and bookkeeping, but the feedback is always that people have their biggest concern is trust of data security. QuickBooks and Sage have got this nailed because they've built it themselves. The only people that are getting this data are people that have already got the bleeding data. So, yeah, I would argue an acquisition of AI was a terrible mistake to happen.
Which we don't know if that's the case.
We don't know if that is what they're going to do. But at the same time, how else are they going to get a jump start on this if they've not already started? Like they're already 12 months behind AI as a technology in the public domain. If they don't announce anything until June, they're then 6 months behind Sage and 8 months behind Intuit, who have already not just made announcements. Let's just remember, Sage and QuickBooks aren't going, oh, we're going to do this. Sage and QuickBooks are going, we've done this, we're now going to do this. Like, this is in progress. It's in product. I mean, my other thought is actually this AI is becoming that distinguishing feature now. That, let's say over the last 2 or 3 years, okay, we've had Sage, we've had QuickBooks, we've had Xero, and then we've had people like nipping at their toes. So we've had things like Capium and Zoho Books and all of these other bookkeeping solutions, like FMS solutions, as they like to be called, the finance management softwares, all suddenly started nipping at QuickBooks, Sage, and Xero's toes for, nothing. They're not taking big bites out of their customer base, but they're nicking the odd one here or there, and it's starting to potentially become a thorn in the side, a bit of an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Whereas
and originally driven by MTD, right? So that's where.
Yeah. Exactly.
And now.
And it was a price war, race to the bottom.
Yeah.
Now we've got a new software out there, new technology, and Sage, QuickBooks are on it. That leaves, Capium are great. They're lovely guys, but they're not. I'm going to go on a wild assumption here and say they're not necessarily very far down the AI road. Same with Zoho Books. I've heard nothing from them about AI and stuff. So this gives QuickBooks and Sage that distinguishing feature of, yeah, those FMSs are fine, but they haven't got this technology behind them.
Yep.
So it just widens that gap again. It's just a question of which side of that gap is Xero going to sit on. Because at the moment, they're they're the next easy target for Capium and Zoho Books and everyone else to start just picking off clients from, because, oh, we're cheaper. Yeah, Xero have got that pricing point that makes them a premium product, but actually they've not rolled out this new technology, so they're not as premium as they were. So it's going to be an interesting year, 2024, isn't it?
It certainly is
going to be an interesting year. Okay, let's get off our AI soapboxes. Let's have a look at what the comments are saying. So Paul's saying if their support lines use the same AI, then Xero could be in trouble. Yep. I mean, that would imply Xero have got a support line. It's a support email account.
Have to reach out and say that he drove to NEC and back again yesterday. So for Comic-Con, so that proves it's a good location, right?
Yep.
That can't have been an easy drive for Paul as well. That must have been a bit of a nightmare one.
So yeah, okay. So that's Sage AI. Quick topic, because inspired by you, Aaron. So last night on LinkedIn, you did a bit of a post that seemed to do quite well. Got some reactions. I'm just talking to my lawyer about royalties for you. Don't worry. If I'm using the same one as you, there probably is a conflict of interest somewhere.
Yeah,
who's paying her the right amount? But you did a new closing credits video, didn't you? Which you're going to be putting at the back of all your videos for 2024. Great video, very well edited, really slick, and it summarized, I think, 2023 very well. And watch this space. We've got an idea of some social media posts you're going to see tomorrow, hopefully.
Yep.
But 2024 is around the corner. You're getting your social media plans ready for 2024. I've got some thoughts I'm jotting down at the moment and planning what I want to do 2024 on social media. 2023 was our first proper year of podcasting, social media, doing social takeovers for software vendors, covering events with the grid walk. It's been a big year for us.
Yeah.
But we've not done anything that any of our listeners couldn't do, which is probably a daft thing to say. If we lose our market share because one of our listeners comes along and does something better, then my bad. Sorry, Aaron. But
will they take us on? Can we jump ship to them?
But I thought, Aaron, let's go. What are your kind of top 3 tips? Whether it's be certain bits of gear, whether it's routines, habits, whatever it is, for any of our listeners that want to step up their social media content creation, shall we say, and have their 2024 in the same way that we've had our 2023.
Great topic.
Yeah. So we've got 5 minutes left. So what are your top tips?
Go on then. So I think, and we'll go to yours afterwards, but I think if we had one gear, one example, and one kind of other tip. So gear wise, I would say Santa's coming, right? So Santa's going to be around dropping down his little tree, down his thing for his, and putting stuff under the tree.
Chimney.
That's what I was after. Because we don't have one. That's what it is. But I think the one thing to be looking out for is just audio. When it comes to recording video, everyone's got a mobile phone, so you can start off with there, no problem whatsoever. Just look at a really good audio solution. We've shown them enough time. Mine's all packed away, unfortunately, but we've shown them enough times. We love those DJI ones that you can just really slick, easy to do. But I've seen a lot of even AJ over at the QuickBooks, very, very easy solution. He just has a lavalier mic that goes from here, and you just hold it and you put it through from there. That, to begin with, I imagine they're like, what, £20, something like that, maybe even less.
Yeah, I imagine they're about 20 quid if you want that nice long cable.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, 100%. Just please, if you're going to be looking at content going forward, just concentrate on that audio to begin with. Get that sorted. We've heard it many times before, but you try and watch now a video that's got poor audio, you're going to be turned off quite soon. But if it's got poor video, you're likely just going to accept that and just carry on. But it's the audio that's key. So definitely look at trying to get yourself. I mean, we would personally recommend a nice little wireless solution, but a lavalier mic that you can just hold and go from there. Be more than adequate for what you need. My other one I would say is definitely start planning and putting some content together. I say this from someone who doesn't do enough other than my videos. I've not missed an upload now in 3 years, but other than my videos, I don't put enough planning into my social content in terms of LinkedIn and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. So that's what I need to do better at in 2024. When I sit down at the beginning of the week and I plan that week ahead and I have a post consistently for the week, I have a great week on social. I get great engagement and everything's all plus and going up. So planning is absolutely key. But the problem is I don't plan enough. So, heed my advice. Planning is going to be so critical. And my final tip I would say is get yourself to the events. Like, that's where the content is, right? You can get yourself to events. You can just go around. We saw so many people just walking around with their phones and recording this and recording that, and it just needs to be a short or look at Ariona's content she does at the moment. She does that high impact, low amount of kind of energy to get it there, but it's high impact content, and it is literally just taking a snippet here, snippet there, snippet there. So yeah, I think this is the year to really go for it and really push for it. And find a platform that you really like and you understand, and start from there. And I think this 2024, I can see a lot of good content coming from the accounting space. What about yourself, Johann? What would you say?
So yeah, I agree. Audio and finding the platform that you want to be on, really important. And that platform also, it's probably going to be dictated by what you want to do. So if you want to monetize, as the social influencers call it, where you're going to get paid to do stuff, marketing agencies are more interested in, say, YouTube videos and content than they are in LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. TikTok's becoming a bigger thing, but YouTube's kind of evergreen. That video, once it's there, unless you take it off, it can be searched and searched and searched. Like, it's fine. LinkedIn, after a week, that content doesn't really reappear anymore, unless it's a particularly good post and it's doing particularly well. Every now and then I'll get a notification where someone's obviously sat on a weekend going through their wall, and all of a sudden they've seen a post from me from 2 weeks ago for something and they've liked it. So if you want to monetize it, just think about where your marketing agencies are looking to spend money, and it's in reoccurring evergreen content. So yeah, Twitter is just a no-go, really. That once you've posted something, it's disappeared off everyone's walls within an hour, never mind a couple of weeks like it is on LinkedIn. Facebook, people just don't, it's more of a personal thing, I think, now. LinkedIn's good, but advertising agencies aren't interested as much as they are in YouTube and TikTok. But my overall top tip is get someone to do it with you. So the only reason that I have been able to do every podcast, give or take a couple, all year, and I've then built out all of this other content, is because I've got my partner in crime. I've got Aaron, who is sat there reminding me to do stuff, and I'm sat there reminding him to do stuff.
Exactly.
It's bloody hard work creating all this content if you're on your own. You've got to be able to, if you do it with someone, you will enjoy it more. And it can stay a professional working relationship. It doesn't need to be that you and that person suddenly and their wives go away to the F1 or to watch The Killers or something. It doesn't need to go that far. But having that person to work alongside, having that partner in crime, as it were, that helps hold everyone accountable, is so important. Like, I wouldn't be able to stay as consistent as I am if I didn't have Aaron holding, organizing stuff, and Lizzie holding me to account. Like, I've just realized I've not sent Lizzie last week's video stuff for the day in her life, so I need to get that sorted today. And yeah, having that person to do it with makes it so much easier. Like, people that are doing podcasts and their social posts off their own back, and they aren't paying anyone to write it all for them, hats off to you, because that is hugely time consuming. It takes a lot of effort. But because I've got this platform for Ask the Accountant, that's what inspires all my other stuff, like my day in the life stuff and my LinkedIn profile posts and stuff like that. It generates all that other stuff. But without the Ask the Accountant partnership, I wouldn't be as consistent and delivering the content I am. So get someone to do it with you. That would be so important. And AJ from QuickBooks has just said in the comments, his tips would be to be friendly, think outside the box, and if you don't ask, you don't get. So true. Like, ask to work with people, ask to work with softwares, because if you don't ask them, they won't come and ask you. Like, yeah, very good tips from AJ there. Cool. Okay, Aaron, that brings us up to an hour. So we need to sign off because I've got a train to catch, and so have you, sir.
Hey.
So thank you very much to everyone that's joined us this week. Thank you to everyone that's commented on the comments. It's been an interesting week with Sage beating Zero to the AI punch. Definitely one I'm going to enjoy watching is seeing how Sage roll it out from here. So yeah, thank you very much to everybody for joining us. And don't forget to join us next week at 8:30 across all of our favorite social media platforms again. Anything from you, Aaron?
I just want to do a plug for tomorrow's video. It's been a long time in the making in terms of people asking for it. But I finally sat down and I did that comparative between the OCR technology of the world, the receipt captures of the world. So we've got QuickBooks receipt capture versus Dex versus auto entry versus HubDoc, is it, from Zero?
Yep.
And versus Free Agent. But yeah, probably best not bring Free Agent back into the conversation going forward. But anyway, for the rest of them though, very interesting. Yeah, and I think I think a lot to be learned, and there'll be more to come on that as well, because I feel like this is a start of something we can definitely roll out, and maybe an Ask the Expert, Ask the Accountant one at some point as well, as we do a full-blown test on it.
You know, when I said evergreen content, you just know the moment one of those software providers launch a slightly new part of that feature and slight tweak, that video is now dead.
Yeah,
but hey ho.
I'm ready. I'm ready to edit. Ready to edit.
Cool. Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We will see you all next week when we will report back on the QuickBooks Accounting Council.
Just so you know, KPM don't listen to us live because they're phoning me now. So they're off the Christmas list.
Gone. Brilliant. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Aaron, roll the credits.
Cheers all. See you next week. Oh, and join us today for QuickBooks Labs. Yeah,
see you tonight.
Don't miss it. See you later. Bye.